Hello and thank you for joining another edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. I'd like to invite you to another special edition of the program on the 29th of May 2017 as we do a midterm appraisal of President Muhammadu Buhari's government. Venue is our studio here at number 1 CMD Way off CMD Road, Ikosi, Ketu, Lagos, Nigeria. Time is 4 p.m. To hang out with us on that day, just send your name, phone number and location to journalisthangout@tvcnews.tv or 08032645899. 08032645899. I look forward to receiving you then. Today on the Hangout, Governor Abdulaziz Yari of Zamfara State denies building an hotel with Paris Club refund. Senate President Bukola Saraki comes under attack for describing Buhari's war against corruption as a circus show. And later in the Hangout, free Chibok girls meet parents on Friday. I'll be joined by Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Wahid Bakari, Festus Iriye. So if you're ready, let the Hangout start now. Many states in Nigeria were almost bankrupt when the price of crude oil crashed in the international markets. Many of them couldn't pay salaries and they were on the brink of collapse. As they gasped for breath, the federal government gave them a chance to leave. But the story of hopelessness in some of these states didn't end with the financial aid. Some governors were accused of diverting the loan. One of the governors in the eye of the storm is Abdulaziz Yari, the governor of Zamfara State. Governor Yari is undergoing investigations for allegedly constructing a 100-room hotel with $3 million from Paris Club loan refund allocated to his state. He is also alleged to have diverted 500 million naira from the Paris Club refund to pay off a loan of a property that was purchased in 2003. Now, while Nigerians are shocked by this news, the governor has denied the allegation. What is really going on? It's mind-boggling when the news filtered in last week that a particular governor used the Paris Club refund and is building an hotel, I don't know, maybe in Lagos or Abuja. But some online medium actually went ahead to name the Zamfara State governor. That's the chairman of the Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari. What's your take?
Well, these days I find it difficult to believe what I read in the newspapers.
Even in the newspapers?
Yes. So many times, newspaper will report the same line, and then a few days later, you'll be told that it didn't happen. I'll give you the example of the Attorney General. We all reported that, we now representing the media generally, we reported that the president had told him to wade into the NIA matter, the matter of the house where money was kept. And the man came out to say nothing like that happened. And it was reported in most newspapers. So it's a real bother for me that information goes out there, you are inclined to believe what you read, but at the end of the day, it's actually not true. So in this case, where is the proof that the building actually belongs to Abdulaziz Yari? Where is the building itself? Where is it located? We can't just see something in an online media outlet and then we just believe, because on Facebook you see people swearing at Yari, abusing him, talking about the meningitis, irresponsible statement that he made at that time, talking about it, and then going to also say that, look, he's one of the most corrupt governors around and all that. Nobody is saying Yari is a saint. I'll be the last person to publicly say Yari is a saint. I have no proof that he's a saint. But the truth is, people must not make claims that they cannot substantiate about anyone. Because at the end of the day, if and when he gets cleared of this allegation, his image will have been solid. Many people will not even read the rebuter. If someone comes out today to say, no, it's a mistake, it wasn't Yari, only a few people will have read it. Just like a TV station doing documentaries, calling people names and all that. They're apologizing now. Before the election, they're apologizing now. But we all know that a lot of people who watched the documentary at that time would not even see the apology. The EFCC put the Dimeji Bankole on trial, and then the court set him free. But today, many people still see Dimeji Bankole as a rogue. The same thing is also true of the former Speaker of Lagos State. And for some of these cases, the EFCC will not even have the cheek to appeal, because they will know, you know, from the judgment that this is a bad case. Look at the case of the former Minister of Labour, Hassan Lawal. A very bad case by the EFCC. You can't find money in someone's account and just conclude that the money must have been stolen. You must prove that the money is a product of money laundering. A businessman, before he got into government, has a right to his savings. So you can't say because you found money somewhere or somebody wrote a petition, you now base your case on the petition that somebody has written. The petition itself could have been politically motivated. Nobody can say with certainty why people do some of the petitions that they do in Nigeria. So you can't judge someone without proof that, oh, this is what he has done. I'm not saying that this thing has not happened. You understand? But if you must say Yari is the one who is guilty, then you must provide proof.
All right. Wahid, what do you make of this story?
Well, like Jide rightly said, you know, this is era of fake news all over the. Unfortunately, it's not a Nigerian thing. It's been replicated all over the world. You know, during the U.S. election, we saw a bit of it, whereby they said it was reported in the social media that Pope, the present Pope, you know, has endorsed Trump, only for people to later realize that there was nothing of such. You know, if you look at the response of Yari, as was reported in the newspaper today, you know, he made some vital claims, which he was able to use to puncture the so-called allegation. First, where is the photograph of the hotel? Because if such a massive amount of money has been expended on a property, it should not be difficult. It should not be difficult to locate. As we speak now, nobody has seen the photograph. Nobody knows the exact location. You know, they just said somewhere in Lekki. Lekki is a vast area. Are we going to be traversing the whole length and breadth of Lekki in search of a particular property?
Until you get exhausted.
You know, that property must have been located somewhere. It should not be difficult to say, this is where the property is located. These are the reasons why. These are the proof that we have before we conclude that this man actually owned the hotel. It is not enough to say because people have written petition, they will now conclude that he is guilty as charged. You know, because like Jide also said, you know, the unfortunate thing is that once you have been accused, you know, that stigma will be on you. By the time you have been you have been proved to be innocent, very few people will know. To be difficult.
You know, it becomes difficult. That stigma will still be there, that this man has done it. Like, you know, nobody is saying Yari is a saint. But if he's the owner of the hotel, let's show the proof. It should not be difficult. These are the evidence we have.
Is that, Festus, is that in any way saying that we gathered that this Paris club loan fund that was given, some state government actually did not spend it, you know, judiciously, as in the purpose in which, you know, that loan was given, as in to pay workers?
I think it will be a big leap from here to there to just conclude that they didn't spend the money on what it was meant for. But I just need to, let's backtrack a bit.
Okay.
Because there was something that Jide mentioned. I think he mentioned it last time that we had this debate. The $43.4 million discovery in the apartment in Ikoyi. And thereafter, there was a story. I think my paper wrote that, that the Attorney General had been asked to step in And I think that day he mentioned that, oh, see now the man has come out to deny that nothing like that happened. A few days after, a panel was inaugurated. The VP was on the panel. The AG was on the panel. The National Security Advisor was on the panel to investigate that. So I don't think it was correct to say that such an instruction was not in the works, you know, because our sources were very confident in our sources when we published that story, and a few days later we were vindicated. Now coming to the Yari story again, my paper, one of our titles has been involved in reporting this story. That the governor has invested a certain amount of money in a hotel and so on. But our paper stopped short.
Mentioning the name. We
stopped short of mentioning the name. Some other people, some other platforms online went on and mentioned. You know, so I agree with him that, look, you have to be careful. People have a reputation. Whatever goes out there, once the damage is done, the damage is done. So we stopped short, you know. But again, I like to say that.
Was it the same person that you were writing about?
No, I don't know. We never mentioned any governor's name.
Of course.
We never mentioned any governor.
But there's a governor that is building.
We reported that there is a governor involved. Now, I want to say, what I want to say is this, that, look, for a serious paper to put out a certain kind of story, they must be very, very confident in the quality of information they're getting from their sources. That's one. Then secondly, this Paris Club issue, remember also that there was a time when we reported that they were using consultants, and the initial thing was, oh, they came out and the NGF came out and denied and all kinds of things like that. But a few days later, you even have some state governments coming out and saying that, look, we are not going to contribute to this. We're not going to. Bayelsa State specifically came out and said, we are not going to be part of this consultancy. We are not going to allow anybody to take our money out of this and pay any consultant. So I would say that Yari, it would be unfair for anybody to accuse Yari without firm evidence. And like the man has said, the man has come out and said it does not own a plot in Lagos, not talk of owning a hotel, a whole house. So it's now his word against the word of those who have published it and the source and their sources. You know, so until I think it's something that is unfolding,
okay,
and we've not had the last of the story.
All right, we'll quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this break. Please stay with us. And we are looking at the Paris Club refund and the allegation against the chairman of the Governors Forum and Zamfara State Governor, that is Abdulaziz Jare. And Jide, we are so quick in this part of the world. Like when I got to what is unfolding from the Ikoyi dollar mansion and everything now, if you remember at the beginning of that thing, so many names cropped up. And people started mentioning names, and some people, names, you know, the media, the social media, they were mentioning names, and a lot of people were calling for heads and everything. And at the end of the day now, we now discover that, look, this money might be a legitimate government fund for covert operation. And why are we always quick, especially the responsibility of the media to always uphold the sanctity of the truth and objectivity at every given time?
You see, we seem to enjoy sensationalism. Remember what happened many years back when Yaradua did an overview of the power projects under Obasanjo, and said so amount of money had been invested in the power sector, but we are yet to see the gains. When newspapers will report it, except for Vanguard, when newspapers will report it, they quoted him as saying wasted. There was no time, nowhere that Yaradua said wasted. He said invested, because at that time, you could see that the power plants in Geregu, in Omotosho, Papalanto and others had already been built. They had not been completed, but at least they had built those power plants to maybe like 50–60%.
It was just the gas.
Yes, gas supply had to be, you had to sort that out, you know. But to say that, to use the word wasted, was wrong. And that was not what the man said. You also remember how we've been told that somebody kept money in a sewage pit.
That famous lie.
Everyone seems to believe it.
Today.
Until the EFCC chairman himself came here.
We met with him.
And he said there was no time that he
like
told
that.
anyone. He said there was no time that he told anyone that they found money in a soakaway pit. See, General Oladipupo Dia, former Nigerian #2 man, granted the news and interview some years back. He said, see, when I leave office, I don't think I will believe anything I read in newspapers anymore. Because in this position, I've seen so many lies published. Sources will come and mislead you. Sometimes those sources have their own agenda that you will not know. I know for
they attribute it to
yes,
an anonymous source.
Let me tell you, the big men in Nigeria, from my experience as a journalist, the big men in Nigeria are the biggest liars. But you would see a big man, he gives you information, you will assume that he can never lie to you. Even a big man that you are trusted over the years, occasionally when he feels the need to use you, he will tell you a lie, you go ahead and publish. In this case, going back so that we don't get ourselves distracted unnecessarily, in this case, nobody has proved that the building belongs to Yari or that this is where the building is. The Governors Forum, I disagree with what they have done. In any case, I do not think that they have any right to go and keep that money in the Governors Forum account. No, they shouldn't have done that. I also do not think that we should not blame them for the scandal that we have seen transpired over the so-called consultancy, this and that. And we are talking about humongous sums of money here. No doubt about it. But the point that we are making is, before you can go to town that Yari owns this building, you must be very sure, because you are not allowed to ruin people's lives, ruin people's reputation without proof. I've read, especially when you are talking about the online media outlets, they seem to get away with all kinds of blue murder against people because you think that, oh, no, they will not take you to court, this and that. You do that with the mainstream media, and they will almost sue you out of existence. Well, you can't say that someone, unless you have proof. You must have your proof.
Julie, I have the essay to the governor of Zamfara State on the line. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, my brother.
All right. What can you tell us about the $3 million hotel allegation against your principal?
Well, this is just a story. We woke up one day and saw on a social media that the executive governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, is building a hotel in Lagos worth $3 million. This is outrageous. This is malicious allegation, and this is tantamount to tarnishing the image of His Excellency. This is tantamount to encroaching into his human rights, and we condemn it seriously.
All right. Now, is your governor building hotel anywhere in the country?
There is nowhere His Excellency is building hotel in Nigeria and in abroad. The governor has never had interest in building hotels, and he never did. And it is surprising for somebody just to wake up and start writing that His Excellency is building hotel worth 3 million naira in Lagos.
Will your governor go to court?
Of course, we are waiting for the EFCC, who the publisher said is the source of the information. We are waiting for them to come out to let the people or the world that this is their investigation and this is their proof that the hotel, the said hotel belongs to Governor Yari and he is the one building it. Then we will decide the action we will take. And
First, do you want to ask any question?
The EFCC could not prove that, then we will take our own action against the EFCC, which is the source of the information according to the media. And if the EFCC denies giving the information to the media, then we will also take action against that media organization.
Wow. Do you want to ask him?
Yes, if I heard what you said, very well. Are you now saying that you want to wait for EFCC to come out with its proof before you go to court? Is that what you are saying? I didn't get that quite well.
The EFCC, according to the information reaching us, has sent a team of investigators to the hotel site to conduct investigation and their findings and come up with a statement. That's what we are waiting for. And when the EFCC concluded its investigation, that will give us the opportunity, and then we talk to our Anthony, who will definitely take action against it, because this is tantamount to the tarnishing of image of His Excellency and his reputation.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Ibrahim Dosara is the essay to the governor of Zamfara State. Gentlemen, now at least we've heard from one side, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, because the onus is now on the EFCC to now carry out their investigation, to go to the site, the project site, and establish the owner. But the bottom line is that I think the issue here, according to what Jide has said, that Nigerian media will have to be circumspect before we roll out this mad rush, especially the social media. Is more on the social media part. There's a tendency for to embrace irresponsible journalism.
Yes.
Sorry, I was just going to say we should be a bit careful. Yes, the media practice has changed. 10 years ago, we didn't have new media. Today, we have new media, we have traditional media. A lot of the excesses that you are seeing, as he has also pointed out, it's not coming from traditional media. The Ikoyi money, when they started naming names, it was not. I don't think you find any of the top 5 newspapers in Nigeria that just took somebody's name, because at every point in time, trained journalists will know that for every story there are tests. No, there are tests.
That's why I said those guys always think that nobody will sue them.
So I think that even in discussing this, we should be very, very clear. The people that put out this man's name were online, and they also stated in their story they stated in their story that it was the EFCC that told them. So I think that, and I believe that at the end of the day, there are remedies. If you tarnish somebody's reputation, there are remedies. The courts are there to give you justice. So I just think that we should not just go overboard, because sometimes
I think for some of those online media outlets, there is no remedy, and they know it. They know it because I remember that even Ondoka tried to sue Sahara reporters, but he failed because of the issue of jurisdiction.
Senator Abaniko wrote too.
Because of the issue of jurisdiction. So if that is the case,
what about this lady the blogger in Ibadan, who is in trouble in the
that one is resident here.
That's what I'm saying.
That one is resident here. I'm just giving you an example. Why? Because the media outlet that ran this story is the same Sahara reporter, and we are telling you that Ondoka, who even as Attorney General of the country, sued them and failed because of the issue of jurisdiction, because it's not registered to even practice in Nigeria. So that is a fact. You can sue them all you want, but you will not get justice. So that's a fact.
All right, still ahead on Journalist Hangouts. The President of the Senate, Senator Abubakar Bukola Saraki, describes President Buhari's anti-corruption war, a circus show. Details after this break. Welcome back. If you think Senator Dino Melaye is corrupt and uncultured, now is the time to have a rethink. Now, the lawmaker who is best described by critics as an unscrupulous entertainer has written a preferring solution to the corruption plaguing Nigeria. Now, the book. At the unveiling of the book, his friend and master at the Red Chamber, Senator Abubakar Bukola Saraki, described President Buhari's anti-corruption campaign as a joke. Saraki said rather than stopping corruption in the country, anti-graft agencies are putting up entertainment shows. Senator Saraki is on trial for alleged corruption-related issues. Does this statement truly define the anti-graft agencies or simply aimed at wielding public sentiment. The people that were there yesterday, and one of our former First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, was there. Senator Ngige represented the federal government, and Senator Bukola Saraki, the Senate President, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, was there. And
continues to put the people of Kogi to shame by his unprovoked dancing and other funny behaviors. There are so many corrupt elements. So the solution is to actually concentrate on his own colleagues in the Senate, because there is a good number of corrupt people in that Senate. When a Bukola Saraki, who ran a very corrupt administration in Kogi State, Kwara State, you know, who tampered routinely with council funds. In fact, the EFCC had a case with him about the way he tampered with local government funds. When you have him writing the foreword to a book on corruption, somebody who is on trial. So the promoters of corruption were the big guests at Dino Melaye's book launch. So what are we talking about? And you also made Patience Jonathan the chief launcher at the event, or was it chief launcher that they made her, or guest of honor or something? Whatever they chose to make her, it's not even my business. But I'm looking at the people. I'm looking at the person writing the book. I'm looking at the person writing the foreword of that book. That book itself is a joke. I've been told that it just pieced together articles earlier published in newspapers and all that, and
compilation of articles.
Yes, and he's calling himself an author. That's a cheap shot at being an author. To compile articles here and there, and then say you are an author, you've written a book about corruption. It's a cheap shot at being an author. Dino needs to look Saraki in the face and say, Ogami, we know that we are not fighting corruption. Because, look, what are they even talking about? How many bills that are meant to defeat corruption have they passed? The whistleblower protection bill is there. They are yet to pass it, and other bills. Now they are promising that we are going to pass. They are shouting on the rooftops that they have come up with details, budget details and all that for the National Assembly. But when you look at it, you do not find the details that you want. That's not how to provide details. A Senate of conscienceless people that in these hard times will think that their budget should be higher than the budget, their budget for entertainment and for travels abroad and other places should be higher than the budget of the Ministry of Solid Minerals. Is that a Senate to be proud of? Is that a Senate to take seriously? When someone like Dino Melaye leads the line and is talking about corruption, you will know that the whole thing is a joke, because he represents the joke that the Senate has become. He represents it. If you can sit down and do an idiotic song, you know, as a senator, and he's doing like this to people, what do you? How can you take him seriously? Can you? Although God has ensured that you do not have the indignity of having him as your senator, but can you, as if you were to come from Kogi, can you publicly point to Dino Melaye and say you are proud to have him as your senator? Can you? And then he is talking about corruption when there are so many members in that house who are facing trial. Some of them since 2007, they are in that house, in that Senate, facing trial at the EFCC. Is God. Bukola Saraki is also facing trial, you know.
Code of conduct.
And the other day, where did they find humongous money? I mean, discovered that humongous money was stolen the other day. Was it not in his house? Is the one telling us now that, oh, we must do everything to ensure that stolen money have no resting place? That is being done already. Because the whistleblower policy ensures that stolen money has no resting place. That was how we discovered that the former NNPC MD had kept $9
million
somewhere. So what is not telling us, Bukola Saraki is not telling us anything new. He's happy to be saying now that, oh, this is a joke. It will have amounted to class suicide for a corrupt person to come out openly and praise any war against corruption.
All right, looking at Waheed, do you think this is a fallout of the Magu debacle, as in the confirmation of Magu or non-confirmation of Magu?
Well, to start with, the truth is that neither Saraki nor Melaye has been convicted of any corruption, you know, even though there are cases against them in court. Like we have said,
I'm not aware of any case against Dino.
Like I said, in the case of the governor that was accused to be the owner of a hotel, you know, I think that should also apply here, you know, in the sense that until they have been convicted, I'm yet to be convinced that they are corrupt. But why I want to disagree with the Senate President is the fact that he used the word circus show. When you talk about circus show, you are talking of a show in which you have clowns, maybe some people who bring animal so that they can entertain people. But that cannot be applicable to the war against corruption, based on the record that we have. Because as today, at least EFCC has secured 62 convictions. So what is circus in that? And among those that have been convicted is a former governor. And we also have a big oil magnate, you know, that was also convicted. He was accused of diverting a subsidy fund of over 1.9 billion naira. And if you look at the records, so how can you not say this is a circus show? I think you should have looked for a better one.
So you don't expect him to praise it because he's a victim of the war. He cannot praise the war that he's a victim of.
Festus,
yes.
Your take on this?
Well, maybe on a lighter side, first of all. When Jide was saying that who is Dino to? Dino used to be an anti-corruption crusader. When Magu went to the when Magu went for his clearing,
but he's fraternizing with the apostles of corruption.
Magu went for his clearing, his appearance before the Senate for clearing, and he said, Senator, you used to be with us fighting.
I will move to the other side.
But seriously, I think that there's no way you can describe what the Buhari administration has done in this anti-corruption war as a joke, you know, because like it's all about results. It's all about the conviction. I don't think that in recent history, I don't think that you can point to an administration that has put so much political will behind going after politically exposed people. And I don't think it's not Obasanjo, not Yaradua, not Jonathan. I think this is the first time since 1999 that you have seen a government going out. You may say, okay, why are you going out after only politicians? But you have to start somewhere. And this is the first time. But before, nobody had the will to even start a prosecution against those kinds of people. Now we are seeing it happen. And I think that...
we are recovering money.
Absolutely. Yes, and I think that the government deserves some credit. I don't think that what they've done is a joke.
Okay, let me, Abdulaziz from Kebbi State.
Yeah, good day, sir.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Aziz.
Yeah, I really appreciate this program. In fact, it has been a reason why I always get home before 5 so that I can watch your program.
The repeats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, the issue is this country is like we, the masses, have to really fight this National Assembly. Because if not, the way things are moving, they are going to put us into serious mess. Look, imagine this, what do you call it? This bill for crime, proceed of crime bill. It's lying in the National Assembly and they are not doing anything about it. And you see, what they are doing now is they want to make sure that the money that is being recovered here and there, they are not using it for anything, so that the masses will be complaining that all this money that has been recovered everywhere has not been used for anything. So why don't they work on only this single bill will transform this country?
Thank you, Abdulaziz.
Advise them. Advise them.
Thank you for your contribution. I'm looking at, it's going to be very difficult for the federal government to succeed in this fight against corruption if you have critical arm of governments like the lawmakers, the people that make the law, that we structure a legal framework to assist the executive in this war. So if the Senate president is not keen into that vision, if some of the senators, and I'm afraid if Yakubu Dogara is seated in a place where that kind of comment is made and it couldn't,
so is Dogara now.
So it's going to be difficult for that war to be successful if it's just a Buhari or Shibajo thing.
We said it all along that Bukola Saraki imagine as Senate president is a mistake, a serious mistake. We can see clearly now. We can see clearly. Nobody needs to be told. And we warned at that time. Sometimes when we talk about these things, people think, oh, maybe he hates the person. He doesn't know what he's talking about. We have a hostile Senate, a Senate that has made up its mind to fight the executive, and it is single-minded about it. So Bukola Saraki and co cannot be expected to support this war against corruption. In fact, when I hear him talking about corruption, my blood boils, because I know that he has no moral right to be pontificating about corruption. Because in that house, they need to first look at themselves in the mirror and ask themselves that, are we even behaving as decent people? But that's not happening. You cannot have a situation in which the laws, you are not backing the executive with the right laws, that will give us victory over corruption, and then come out to a funny book launch and be saying absolute rubbish. Okay, we can't have that situation. And hold on, they also talked about the need for us to provide deterrence rather than punishment. No, we must punish. They want us to block avenues for people to steal rather than concentrate on punishing. We are going to punish. We will encourage the government to punish. That is the only way. When a senator is jailed, for example, other members of that Senate will think twice. And I want to see at least a dozen of those senators go to jail within the next 1 or 2 years.
All right. Let me quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. Stay with us, people. Welcome back, and we are looking at the book launch by Senator Dino Melaye. Festus, when you look at what happened yesterday and let's leave the messenger and let's look at the message. Yes. Do you find any merit in what the Senate President actually said? Well, against corruption?
Just before coming for this discussion, I actually took time to read the entire speech that he made, and I think he was trying to have a fine balancing act. But like Jide has said, there is no way you are going to divorce whatever he will say from the fact that he's been one of the victims, or if you want to use the word victims of the anti-graft fight. He has cases against him in court, and for somebody of his position, you probably find that experience very, very humiliating. Mm-hmm. So I don't expect him to be one of the greatest cheerleaders of Buhari's approach to the anti-graft battle. But again, reading through his speech, like I said, he also tried to present what they have done to support the fight. He mentioned about 4 bills that they said if we gave a timeline by July 1, they hope to pass one of those bills. So, like I said, you just have to balance things and see where it's coming from, and then see.
Why you have to talk like that?
Yes, and then but I think that I think I sense from one or two things I've heard, I sense that if they feel if it feels particularly, I think that it feels particularly bad that that aspect of the statement has overshadowed every other thing that
he knows what he's doing. He knew what he was doing by focusing. You see, you can praise a government, although they didn't really praise this government. You talk about some of the finest details, but when you now talk so negatively as we have done, even if it's just one line, that would be the headline. That would be the major talking point. So this is someone, he is an experienced communicator, he's an experienced politician. Yes. He knew what he was doing. When he decided to, he was saying, let's have diligent prosecution and all that. We've always said that here. But when he now chose to say, this is a circus show, of course, he expected that would be what the newspaper people would be talking about it. He knew what he was doing.
So, are you not worried that it's from the same APC?
Of course, we have always said that on this program. You know, unfortunately, maybe it's not occurred to him that he's the number 3 man in the country. He also belongs to the same party with the president. What we expect that they should work, you know, on the same page. But we have a situation whereby they are not working at crop purposes. It's not good for our democracy. I think that they should change that.
Now, Julie, when you now look at the operation of EFCC and the way they've been going about the fight against corruption, and a lot of people will tell you that, look, that EFCC has been selective. If you ask a PDP man, he will tell you that, look, that they are going after people in the arrowheads of their party. The other day, we saw senators addressing the press conference, Ekweremadu raising alarm and everything. Are you worried that the pattern, the trend, which EFCC is operating, that is more predominantly on the side of the opposition?
No, I'm not. And I think it's absolute rubbish to be saying this. And we, as journalists, must help to moderate that discussion and show clearly that there are APC members who have been put on trial by this administration. Let me even talk about somebody who joined the APC recently, Ifeanyi Ubah. Ifeanyi Ubah's oil company is accused of stealing some petroleum products kept in his custody.
No, and not that Ubah. Not.
No, it's the same now.
Has he joined the APC?
Yes. The owner of Capital Oil.
Oh, I didn't get that. He has joined the APC.
Ayo, don't distract me. Don't distract me. He has joined the APC. Nearly everyone that matters in the political firmament in Anambra has moved into the APC. Yes. That is a fact, including Ifeanyi Ubah. But Ifeanyi Ubah is being detained now, and by God's grace will be put on trial for the crime that his company committed. You know, even those who connived with them in the NNPC have been told to go. What we are saying is not enough. Put people on trial for stealing. So now, I think it's about 11 billion. No, you are talking about money now. I'm even talking about the quantity of petroleum.
He has the biggest tank farm.
But his lawyers are trying to get the DSS to release him and all that. You can't do all of that and expect not to be put on trial. You can go and join the APC. If you are corrupt, the party, I mean, the security agencies must put you on trial. Now, we have Baba Mangoro, former governor of Adamawa State. Baba Mangoro and his son, Abdulaziz, who is a senator in that chambers with Dino and Saraki, they are on trial. They are in the APC.
Okay, just hold your thought. Anna Akwe is calling us from the United Kingdom. Thank you for joining us, Anna Akwe.
Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good evening, everybody there.
Good evening.
Yeah, I just want to chip in just one statement. The only thing I will advise is that the federal government led by Muhammad Buhari should intensify the trial of Saraki and put that guy in prison.
Thank you,
then
sir.
all this thing will stop.
Thank you.
Put Saraki in prison. They should intensify the trial of Saraki as quick as possible and put that guy in prison, that because that's where he belongs to. He's not supposed to be sitting at that very, very full seat of a country like Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Anakwe. That is if Saraki is guilty. He is innocent until he's proven guilty after the trial.
That's so, if he was not scared of being proven guilty, why was his lawyer delaying his trial? So, but that's a matter for another day.
Under the law.
No, it's not accepted. It's not accepted. Even judges oppose the idea of lawyers. They know that they've not got the facts to defend their client, and they will just be postponing and postponing.
I think that
What's the meaning of that?
I think that has been taken care of. You can't bring all manner of frivolous application to the court now.
The Administration of Criminal Justice Act.
I'm talking about what happened even last year. What happened last year, we saw the delay. We were not blind to it. We saw them trying to stall that trial by all means. And they even went to the ridiculous extent of inviting the judge trying Bukola Saraki to come and face the Senate. Where is that done? Where is that done? But going back, Bukola Saraki himself is an APC member. Goje, who is from Gombe State, who was former governor of Gombe State, is a staunch APC member. He didn't join the APC today. He had been in the APC since. That's true. Ojus Okalu, who has also joined other migrants into the APC, his trial is still on. So what are people talking about? There are many APC members today who have been tried by the EFCC. People should stop this talk that, oh, it is only people in the opposition that are being tried. What's the meaning of that? There is no proof. They can't validly prove that the government is targeting only the opposition.
Why? What's your take on this claim by the PDP senators?
Well, I've never believed in it, and I've said this here before, and I want to reiterate it. For me, it's another nonsense to say that if it's because you are a member of PDP, that's why you are being put on trial. But the fact remains that, is it true or is it not true that those allegations, they should leave it and they should prove it in the court. If you are not guilty as charged, go to court, get good lawyers, let them defend your cause instead of this unnecessary sentiment or saying it's because I'm not a member. And Nigeria has gone ahead, to give us list of those who are APC members that are facing trial under the same government. Your last take on this?
I think that there's nothing to it. I think that it's not a new kind of accusation. Whenever you see government going hard after politicians or political figures, they will try to politicize what should ordinarily be a criminal. Yes, to discredit it. So it's not. There's not much to it. There's not much to it. In any case, the opposition is not even a threat to the federal government. So they don't need that kind of sledgehammer to destroy. The opposition is very fragmented.
The opposition has even
self-destructed. So they don't even need to. It's just politicization.
I want to thank you, Festus, for being our guest today, and Wahid Bakari and Babajide Kolade Otitoju. That's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11, and you can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That's youtube.com/TVC. Feedback channel is Journalist Hangouts at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Ofuba. Bye for now.